Well, hey everybody, Dave here. It's a beautiful Saturday and I'm sitting out in my backyard. Just been swimming, that's why I'm wet. There you go, you can check out the backyard a little bit. So the reason I wanted to make this video today because I got into an interesting discussion last night at work concerning abortion. And the person that I was talking to, he was on the side of he doesn't believe in abortion because of his religious beliefs. And me, I'm on the side of, personally, I don't like abortions, but I believe a woman's body is her body and she should be able to do whatever she wants to. So one of the things that I brought up, which he said he never heard this argument before. So I thought I'd make a video about it. So what I said last night that he found so interesting is people that are for are against abortions always say that that's a life. That's a life. You may say it's a clump of cells, but those cells are alive. So I brought up to him, well, what about cancer cells? Cancer cells are alive. They have DNA in them. And he was like, well, that's ridiculous, Dave. You know, cancer cells can kill somebody. And I said, really? Well, an ectopic pregnancy can kill somebody. There's a lot of things that can happen during a pregnancy. The fetus can die in the womb. And there's issues that we're having because abortion is no longer legal in certain states, that women that have ectopic pregnancies or have issues where the fetus dies, the doctors are not wanting to take the fetuses out because of the abortion laws. So, you know, yes, cancer, a tumor can kill you, but a problem in a pregnancy can kill you too. And then he was like, okay, well, you know, life is life. And I said, well, how do you determine life? And he said, well, life is when the baby's viable. I said, so what do you consider viable? And he was like, well, viable is like when you can take it out and lay it on the table and it can breathe and kick and all that by itself. And I said, okay, so using your logic, if you can take the baby out of the womb and let it kick and live and breathe on its own, then that's considered alive. And he was like, yeah. I said, okay, so what about babies that are born premature that we have to keep alive by artificial means? You know, we have to feed them with NG tubes. We have to have them hooked up to all kinds of machines. We have to put them in incubators. We have to do all of these things to keep this baby alive. So even though now the baby's outside the womb, is that really life if you're keeping it alive by artificial means? And I brought this up to him. So if a person gets into a car wreck and is brain dead, we can keep you alive for 30 years. We can have you hooked up to machines that breathe for you, and we can have you hooked up to machines that cause your heart to beat. But are you alive? So what's the definition of alive? Is if the definition of alive is cells, then a cancer tumor is alive. And we shouldn't remove cancer cells. You know, that radiation and chemotherapy is abortion because you're killing cells with DNA. What if it's not a cancer cell? What if it's just a benign tumor? Are you supposed to remove those because it's alive? You know, I had my appendix out. Is that considered an abortion because, you know, it's alive? It has cells in it that have DNA that are alive. You know, I think it's ridiculous because, you know, arguing that life is, you know, you got to be able to breathe. Okay, I'll agree with that. But if you're hooked up to machines, if you're a premature baby that's born at 18 or 20 weeks, you can't be kept alive on your own. You need to be hooked up to all these machines. Just like a person that gets in a car wreck and his brain dead has to be hooked up to all these machines. That's why I think there's a lot of holes in this abortion argument. You know, because I think that the only way you can be considered officially alive is if you can breathe and lay there and move and cry without anybody helping you. Of course, you know, eventually you got to feed the baby and stuff like that. That's different. We all got to eat. We all got to be fed. So I can't really say that, well, the baby can't feed himself, so he's not alive. And the baby, in a way, has to be conscious. Even though the baby won't remember being a baby, it's still conscious because it can laugh, it can cry, it can make expressions. Whereas if you're hooked up to a machine and you're brain dead, or you're a premature baby and you're hooked up to a machine, is that life? I don't know. I just think that men, and especially male lawmakers and governors, should keep their nose out of a woman's body and a woman's business and a woman's health. Thank you. Bye.